Cell phone charger back there if you need one.
Great, thank you.
You're very welcome. Going to see the game today?
Yes.
All right.
Little work event.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What do you do for work?
I work in insurance.
Oh.
Yeah, not cool.
Depending on the insurance, I don't know.
Yeah, it's doable. The pros in my eyes outweigh the cons.
Sure. Well, there you go. What kind of insurance do you do?
Commercial stuff.
Okay.
I specialize specifically in trucking.
Oh, okay.
So really cool, right?
Yeah, no, I think so. Actually, I was just having, I had a guy in the car who was a logistics broker.
Oh, yeah?
And he had something that was shipping that like was a big catastrophe where like the truck got flipped, the top of it got ripped off, and insurance was able to get all the product replaced and get somebody back on the line, and the trucker, I don't know the status, not like dead, but you know,
sure,
right? But at least the insurance did do what you'd expect it to do, which is they took the claim and got everything back in running.
You know, that is like, it's a great story to hear, especially in like, I'm not on the risk-taking side. I'm a broker, an insurance broker. So
sure.
like, I'm connecting insurance companies with customers.
Sure.
But you know, a huge part of my job is trying to really push our insurance carriers to pay out claims.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, they write, you know, the policy, they take the check, but they obviously want to fight it with, you know, every tooth and nail that they can.
Right. Exactly.
So, I mean, honestly, whenever I think an insurance carrier pays out, it's a win. I think it's good.
That's the whole reason people get insurance is exactly for
yeah,
that.
right,
And,
exactly.
And you're right. That's the unfortunate part where you're having to deal with insurance fighting you tooth and claw the whole way.
Right.
To get the payment, but if you can get them to just, yeah, we'll take it, we got it from here, that's when it's nice.
Oh, it's so great. I was actually in a car accident a couple of months ago, and my fiance and I totally fine, but our car got totaled, and that ended up actually becoming a blessing in disguise a little bit. We were looking for a new car anyway, and
sure.
you know, we ended up getting money out of it, so in that sense it was a blessing in disguise. Still a fucking headache, pardon my French. But Geico, you know, we called them, let them know the situation. They were like, yep, we're on it. Ended up, you know, within a week cutting us a check, and it was there within a week and a half.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And it's, you know, that is, especially when you're dealing with that, even in that small scenario, let alone, you know, injury or, you know, debilitating financial circumstances.
Yeah.
It's a breath of fresh air.
Exactly. Exactly. Where it's like, okay, the whole reason I got this was for that safety net,
right,
was for this feeling of it being okay, and they said it's going to be okay, and it's like, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, I work in insurance, so I'm someone that is very insurance heavy in, you know, every aspect.
Sure.
But I mean, it like a small like sad part of me is also like kind of glad that it happened, because it's like, hey, you know, at least I'm putting that money to good use now.
Exactly. Right. You know, I had a claim, same thing for my house. There was a fire next door, but I guess smoke got into my place, so I had to file a claim and do all that. And it was the same thing where I was like, this was unfortunate. My house smelled like a burnt marshmallow for 3 weeks. But I got the stuff replaced. I got rid of some furniture that I didn't want, but I got some money for, so that was cool.
Right.
You know, so I was like, okay, it worked out. Insurance did the thing. And like I said, I didn't feel bad. I was like, you know, this is Progressive's money. So
yeah, right.
Like, yeah, just take it and that's fine. This is the whole reason I'm paying monthly for it. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
And the specific line of coverage I work in for transportation is excess and umbrella. Okay. So like with your personal insurance, you can get the additional limits, and really we work with really sizable trucking operations or really just terribly run trucking operations that are just really hard to place, which is why we get involved. And for like those, I do kind of see where it's like, okay, well, you know, I'm paying X amount of money every year for nothing because we never have a claim that needs that. And I mean, it's expensive because, you know, I'm on the liability side. So like you mentioned with that truck broker who had that claim, it's like, you know, I've seen some horrible things in claim details where it's like a group of college girls are driving to their final exam at nursing school. They get hit by a truck and all 4 of them die except for one that is a paraplegic for the rest of their life.
Right. Before this, they were none.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, man, good thing they bought insurance, but yeah,
this is the story.
It's a weird world.
It really is.
Say that.
And I think that highlights exactly the point. Nobody ever uses insurance when they don't need it.
Right.
You don't ever. It's always a story like that. It's always some catastrophe, and that's what it's supposed to be there for.
For sure. Yeah. And to put it simply and kind of weirdly, it's like we're the bad guy until we're the good guy.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And the good guy in the scenario when the insurance carrier actually writes the check and just handles it as they should.
All right.
But if you don't use it, or if you have a bad experience, I mean, even someone who works in insurance, it's like, damn you, Geico, I don't need to be paying $100 a month right now, or whatever.
Yeah. Exactly. And then you go and file the claim. They're like, your name, the T is crossed different than this. Sorry, we can't get you checked.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
it's
then
like, you bought this auto policy when you didn't have an auto?
Yeah.
Ooh, sorry.
Dude, it's unfortunate.
You're not getting any money back.
Yeah. Right. And that's the kind of stuff where like, okay, but I think that's a great way to put it. You're the bad guy until you're the good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. And that makes sense. And like you said, it seems like you've got a good niche where you're providing umbrella coverage for people that might not be able to get it, which is good.
For sure. I mean, it's it's an up and down business where, unfortunately, both for me and really more the transportation industry as a whole, it's not like trucking companies are sitting on piles of cash.
Yeah. Very
so
true.
When they decide to ultimately buy the coverage I'm selling them, they're never happy about it. So a win for me is a loss for them.
Sure.
And then when they have a loss, it's a win for me still.
Okay.
In a way. I mean, obviously not for, the people involved.
Right.
But, really, this is where it starts to get a bit morbid. And I try to not be jaded by it, but it's also like, well, I write this account.
Mm-hmm.
You just had a bad accident, which means, I'm going to have to work harder, but premiums are going to be more. My commission's going to be more.
Right.
And it's like, man, that's very morbid to think about when, 4 nursing students get absolutely demolished.
Right. No, but that's like, a casket salesman's happy every time somebody dies, right?
Right.
So it just is what it is. That's the nature of your gig, is you are there for the bad parts of the auto industry, the bad parts of trucking. But again, it's, you benefit from it, but it has to be done. And Frieght, this is the conversation I had with that guy, is that, everything in this car, everything I'm wearing was Frieght at one point in time.
Yeah.
And it had to go through that commercial process, and it had to go through the safety checks and that coverage to say, okay, it's going to get there because I need clothes to wear. I need food to eat. And that's all part of the process. So like you said, it's there can be bad times, there can be bad scenarios and situations, but it's just all part of the whole living, breathing organism of society.
Yeah, right, exactly. And it's really interesting, when you actually do kind of take a step back and think about it. And I know for a fact I did during COVID when, you look out on the road wherever you live. I was in a high-rise building in River West, right over 90, and it's the first time in my life. And I grew up right outside Chicago, and first time in my life I've never seen a traffic jam on that road.
Oh, that's so funny.
And it's just trucks. I mean, just, driving.
Yeah.
And there were no claims.
Yeah.
Because, most of the time claims, honestly, are, well, I shouldn't say most of the time. A not insignificant amount of times, claims are caused by, us.
Sure.
Civilians just driving their car.
Yeah.
They pull in front of a truck and basically cut them off, and a truck needs 100 feet for every 20 feet the car needs to slow down.
Right.
They end up getting rammed, and then who gets blamed? The truck.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like you don't have any of those scenarios going on. So our insurance companies are just raking it in. But just from open litigation they have, it's like they're still asking for a ton of rate.
Yeah.
So then there's just rarely good news to bring to anyone. But, you know, like you said, it's nature of the business, and, you know, it has to be done.
Yeah, got to keep the machine going. But that's, you know, I have a lot of friends that are truck drivers. I've never met one that was a bad driver. They can drive any vehicle and park it on a dime, you know?
For sure.
Yeah, and so that's really it. So that it makes sense to me that you would see exactly that, way less traffic jams and way less accidents, because it's 100%. It's the people that didn't drink enough coffee before they got on the road, or you know, are still half asleep, and those are the ones that cause a lot of the accidents, or just make a lot of dumb moves.
They're not the ones with the deep pockets behind them either.
That's
I mean,
true.
you know, when you're a third party, or like a third result of that accident, you're not suing, you know, Jane Doe, who, you know, might have an insurance policy of $300,000. You're suing ABC Trucking Company, who has, you know, $50 million in annual revenues.
Right, exactly.
And then
have $1 million or something insurance coverage for whatever damage caused. Yeah, so that, of course, that's the number they're going to, because it's right there on the side of the truck. Right. Who to call.
It's advertising, yeah. How's my driving? Call this.
Call this number. Well, turns out I was in an accident involving this guy. Yeah, that's, you know, and that's unfortunate. I always say, like, there was one passenger, she was talking about bicyclists, how, you know, they get in the way, and she's like, I dare people to hit me. I say, go for it. I said, well, I only dare city buses to hit me.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Those are the only ones that pay, but that's it.
I mean, that is the absolute truth. Yeah. As, you know, someone who both rides a bike and drives, I'm just always against, you know, whoever not at that moment. So it's like, when I'm driving, it's like, these fucking bikers, and then when I'm biking, it's like, these fucking cars. Right, that's exactly it. That's so funny. Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, because that's really it. Is it turns out everybody's a terrible driver, would be on a bicyclist or not. It's just you only see the one side of it. Yeah, exactly.
But it turns out everybody's terrible. That's really the truth of it.
That is the truth. Hey, you know what? I actually might hop out here, if that's okay with you.
Sure, of course it is. Yeah,
perfect.
A little easier for you, not so much stop and go.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Of course, yeah.
I'm just down that street, so I think they're taking us on the way. But hey, thank you so much. Welcome. It was great talking to you.
Yeah, it was great chatting. Have a good one.